John, you have a quorum.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve last meeting's minutes?
No, I have some clearance. As you can see, I have a lot of question.
All right,
And
so
not all on the minute. On the minute, I just wanted one clear from Megan to make sure that everybody understood what I said, and it is exactly what is in. So I'm going to read quickly one paragraph, and if that's correct.
but just 1 second, you have to make a motion and have it second, and then you can ask the question.
Right.
All right, colleagues, I take your words. I make a motion.
There's already a motion in progress, so we have to vote on that, then we'll have a discussion.
But I second it.
Okay, so someone has offered the motion and Bobby seconded, so now we can have a discussion.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Bob Detour, and thank you, other board members, and taking your time with tough times. If we can go to page 4.
Sorry, Dr. Clay, what page are you on?
Page 4.
Okay,
And it is my comment is on the is the second paragraph,
okay,
or could be third, depend how somebody want to take it. Where it says Dr. Kaloti asked if the money received from the CARE Act.
yes,
I just want to make sure how I read it. If you guys have a 1 second for me, please.
sure.
I want to make sure it's reflect the way I had intended. Please, it does not reflect my intention of the time, and I am clarifying it, or if it does say what I am stating is correct, then I will be okay with it. Then I will have no objection. I said we should appropriately use all the funds we received as COVID or designated purposes, so that in appreciate time COVID lines, we must use the money for intended purposes in timely manners. Whatever it is or can be used for, Megan, as you understand legally what I am intended to say, so please make the proper, I'm requesting proper wording. If it is already proper wording, but I said, then I have no objection to it.
Okay, if you want, I can add the word, spend the money appropriately. We could add the word appropriately, and then we can make the motion to approve the minutes with the word appropriately added.
I just want to make sure it is exactly what I said. That's all I'm asking.
It was recorded. We took it off the recording.
Thank you. And then other things on page 5.
Okay,
Actually, my friend Bill and Hobb was there, and Megan was giving us a credit. I want to make sure the credit goes to the proper organization. It was in Nargis, that foundation, as well as Friends for Good Health. So Nargis, that is spelled incorrectly, so I will spell it for you.
okay,
N like Nancy, A like Apple, R like Robert, Z like God, I like India, S like Sam.
okay,
And it's a dot. D like David, U like Uncle, T like Tom, T like Tom.
got it.
Foundation and Friends for Good Health.
Yes,
So that's the corrections I only have, and I will stop unless other board member have something to say.
so I'd like to amend the motion to include those 2 additions.
Please.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second,
I second it.
all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
But I'm abstaining, John, because I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay, fine, Jan. Jan abstains. Okay, motion carried. Thank you very much. We want to have some time for the management letter. Do we have someone in the audience to present the management letter?
Can you tell me who's the management? What is this management?
Yeah. Bob, you want to introduce the gentleman?
Yeah, Bobby, this is, we have, I believe, on the line, Tony Kendall. He's the managing partner of Mitchell Titus, who conducted our 2019 audit. The board reviewed, the audit committee reviewed the audit, and the board had technically approved it, but we had not received the management letter, which is what which may have some specific issues and recommendations that the auditor wants to make. So we received the management letter from the auditor, and we felt as though the committee should have the opportunity to hear from the auditor regarding the management letter.
Thank you, Chairman. And I do have at least 4 or 5 questions related to that.
Okay. So Tony Kendall, are you on the line or?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Nice background.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us. I also have my colleague, Angela Allen, on the phone too. So we want to present the management letter, which we sent out approximately 2 weeks ago, and I believe each one of you had an opportunity to review it. So what I will do is just go through the highlights of each area and then allow you to ask any questions that you may have. So the first comments are related to the financial statement review and the close process. We had several comments that we think could enhance the actual financial statement preparation and the close process. I won't go through them individually, but if anyone has questions regarding, you can stop me or you can ask after I go through the complete letter. You would also see our recommendation and
Sorry. Chairman, may I have your permission?
Please go ahead.
Thank you. If it's okay with you, I am questioning on the page number 3.
okay, page number 3.
And the paragraph there it says management response.
Okay.
To me, it is very confusing. So that, and I'm glad you guys are here. Hopefully, it helped my other colleagues. Hopefully, they are not as confused as I am by reading this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On 11th line.
Can you tell me what the sentence
Yes, sir.
starts with?
It says health benefit liability at December 31st, 2019.
$565 million.
Yes, and please just hold for a second. My question is, how did you come to this number? And then also you had stated next several decades. What is this number? 565 million. It is a 1 year, it's a 10 year, 30 year, 50 years. It is actually is not clear at all. It's like the explanation I look like it in kindergarten. I did the explanation here. So please, if you can explain what it is it 20 year, 30 year, 50 years, or it's 1 year, 565 million. It's not a chump change. It is a pretty big amount, or is some kind of scare tactics.
Yeah, no, Bobby, this is Rich Rank. It's what's on the balance sheet as of the end.
I didn't ask you the question. I asked the auditor the question. So please let him.
So let me respond. That is management response. As I was stating a moment ago, we make a recommendation, then management responds to that as they feel appropriate. So that comment was not written by the auditors. That is management. So it probably is more appropriate for management to respond to that.
Thank you. And now, Rich, if that's the question, if you put this in, to me, the chairman, I'm going to ask, if we're not going to approve something out of here, I prefer to ask Rich Rank question later on instead of in this form. You suggest me, but you advise.
It's not my understanding that we're approving anything here, Bobby, but
If it's not, then I think I should hold on the comment, and I can ask Rich Rank on the explanation on a later stage. If Chairman, I have your approval.
That would be most appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to go back to where I started, which was the financial statement close, and then the next, you'll see the next comments related to the going concern. And I believe the gentleman, Bobby, who just asked a question was related to the going concern. And if you continue, the next section is regarding receivable and subsequent cash analysis. And you will see our recommendation and management response. Next comment is regarding the grant requirements.
If that's on the
Yeah.
receivable and
requirement
subsequent
is on
cash
the-
analysis.
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah, I got it. I got a grant requirement. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going from the very top down.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh. So the next comment is related to documentation of fixed assets. Next comment is regarding journal entries.
I have a question on that page.
Okay,
I see that you guys are questioning. I read the report. It's about some employee who retired, and then he's still part-time employee, and his signature is on the banking. I don't understand what is the big deal about it. If he's still our employee and is required his signature to perform his duty, what is so big deal about it? I just wanted to take the perception of your guys or auditors, what he trying to look. If all the work we done, he come up with this one little thing about one employees or his signature and still working for us, I don't think it's a very big deal.
so I'm sorry, could you state the actual question that you have for me?
Yes, sir. The question is that you guys had, is one of our employees that he is a former employee, is cash testing, right under cash testing. So you
Yes,
have,
I understand what point you reference. I'm trying to understand what is the question that you're asking me.
it's making it sound like it is a big deal, but I don't see it's a risk to the organization. How is that a risk to the organization?
Okay, so let me answer the question. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So, okay. So two things. One is that we were initially told that he was an independent contractor. So that's the first point that we raised. He was told independent contractor. And even if you do have a former employee who's a part-time employee, the question is, and you can step outside of the hospital and just ask the question, would it be best that you have a part-time employee, whether or not he or she is former or not, to have signatory rights on your bank account? That's the question we were raising, and we believe management should review that. If management concludes that that is fine and that is what they want to do, that is management's choice.
Okay, because Megan, that question goes to you. If
Yes.
legally,
Yes.
they're bringing something to our attention and he was our employees and he's loyal and faithful of whatever he did while he was working.
There's no illegality to it, Dr. Claudia. He's been an employee for 30 years, and there's no issue, and we discussed it with management here. So, I mean, I think that was brought up.
So it's not a big deal. We are satisfied where we are.
Yes.
Thank you.
I want to make one comment. We were no way suggesting any allegation against anyone. That's just a
Thank you.
point, and that's just a point and nothing more. We were not suggesting anything more than that. I want to be
Mr.
very
Ca-
clear on that.
Mr. Kendall, that's my job, fiduciary
Okay.
responsibility like other board members. We're looking for a clarification so that we can request from our management.
No, I understand. I just want to be clear that we were not making any allegation, that's all.
Thank you.
So the next comment is related to internal audit function. We think it would be beneficial for the hospital to hire an internal auditor. And I think management management actually agrees with us.
Yes, we're gonna bring that to the legal audit committee next week.
So that is our final comment.
I appreciate your report along with the other board member, but I'm gonna let the chairman to thank you for that. But I do have other question. I think it's should be solely depend on under the leadership of our chairman of the board and especially our CEO, Dr. Bhutan and Megan Ryan Smith to work on this, who we hire, who we should not hire. I don't know, but I do have a specific question to you.
Yes.
Who is the trustee of the battery park in your organization?
Who's the what?
Trustee of the battery park in your organization?
Who's the trustee of the battery park in my organization?
Yes.
Are you referring to Mitchell and Titus?
I don't know who it is. I'm asking you. Are you?
When you say my organization, what organization are you referring to?
Mitchell Titus.
Well, I'm a partner in Mitchell and Titus, and I'm actually on the board of Battery Park Authority.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anthony, I have a question about the internal auditor.
Sure.
Who will he report to? Will he have a dotted responsibility to the board?
He should. That person generally has a direct line to the board, generally to the audit committee.
Thank you. I think it's important that we have that function in place, that the auditor has direct access to the board.
Yes, we put that in the scope of services, that's in the proposal. That's exactly what it'll report to, not only to the full board and give reports, but also to the legal and audit committee.
Thank you, Megan.
Sure.
Okay, let's move on to Rich. Rich, if you could provide us your reports, and I'm going to switch things with you a little. I spoke earlier with you. Can you start with the operating results?
So before Angela and I are going to sign off, if that's okay, or do you want us to stay?
No, I request chairman, they should not stay.
I don't think there's any reason for you to stay, and
I'd
so
like to
we
add-
thank you. We thank you for your report. Bob,
Thank
yeah?
you.
Yeah, I'd like
Thank
to
you.
add- Tony? before you-
Yes.
Yeah, the one, I'll tell you, on the management letter, we had an opportunity to read it and discuss it with management. And I'm satisfied that with regards to the policy issues you raised, that we're going to address those things as we go forward. It sounds to me as a little more of a tweak than anything else. The one thing that concerned me the most in the management letter was, quite frankly, not so much the management, but the board. In response to the going concern that was issued in 2018 and then another one in 2019. And so, I think that the board has now begun a pretty aggressive focus on trying to take a look at some type of restructuring and responding to that going concern. And that is a significant effort of the board, also in conjunction with NYFA, because NYFA realized the same thing, that there really had not been a response. And I think the management now is very focused on that. And hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have some type of game plan that's going to address it.
Well, we're hoping that happens too. We raised it because, as you mentioned, Bob, it was mentioned in 2018 audited report. And we thought that it was a good opportunity for the board and management to come up with a comprehensive plan how to address it.
I'd say before you go, I have another question for you. How long or how much time your organization spent in our hospital to come up with this report?
How many hours we spent on the audit engagement? Is that the
Yes.
question you're asking me?
Yes, sir.
I don't have it off the top of my head, but over 1,000 hours.
1,000 hours of one person or 1,000 hours of 10 people?
The team.
15 people spend 1,000 hours.
15, I'm not sure how you come up with 15.
I didn't say I just picked the number. I didn't say I'm asking you how many.
I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I know it's more than 1,000 hours. I'd be more than glad to report that back to you.
No, I'm asking you, sir, 1,000 hour of one person or 1,000 hour of 15 people or 2 people or 5 people? That's what I said.
I thought you said how many hours. I'm sorry. You're asking me how many people were on the team?
To do the 1,000 hours.
Yeah, it was at any given time, the maximum number of people were about 7 of us.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, thank you for your management report, and we'd like to move on if we may.
Okay, we're going to exit at this time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tony.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right.
For my purposes, who else is on the phone other than board members?
Carl Dreyer from NIFA.
Thank you. Is that it?
It's a public meeting, so there are other people on, Chairman.
Okay.
I believe I see Jerry Wise from NIFA as well.
Yep, Mr. Wise, I think, is on.
Okay. All right. Rich, are you ready to give your operating results?
Sure, sure.
Can we bring them up?
Yeah, let's do the next attachment, yeah. No, it's not that one.
Can you mute for a second?
Yeah, what's up on the screen is, on the balance sheet for July, what I wanted to do is show, because it came up at the last board meeting, our cash balance as it is. Cash available for operations it consists of what you see on the screen. Our cash balance on the balance sheet or on the the statement of net position, as it's called today, is $165 million. It's made up of the $26 million in the Medicare loan advance, $121 million that we got in CARES Act funds, and the remaining is what we have from normal operations, collection of receipts and less what we pay out to vendors and employees. In addition to that, there's a caption on the balance sheet called assets limited as to use. Included in that is DSRIP funds that are not contractually obligated to anybody and can be taken by the hospital because we could claim it due to lost IGT revenue from prior to DSRIP of 2014, what we used to get in IGT and what we're getting currently. We could claim that other 34 million for a total available cash of 199 million.
Rich, this is John. Should it still be called assets limited to use if we can use it as unrestricted cash?
Yeah, because we haven't claimed it from the state yet, but that's more of a technicality at this point.
Okay.
We could claim it now and put it in with the 165. So our
Okay.
cash balance could be 199, you're right.
And Chairman, I have a question on that page. May I?
Please.
Chairman?
Yes.
Chairman,
Proceed.
Chairman, may I ask the question?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. Richard, I see that it's showing on the paper. First of all, I have 2 questions related to it. Why this is a liability and our decreased volume are because of COVID and should be reported. And I tell you why. As I understand, I'm looking at it and I'm reading at it. We have decreased volume because of COVID. We all know. We all know we should use this money for losses because COVID is the fear in the people's mind and they are not coming to the hospitals, and because of they are visiting for a treatment, they're not coming. I think we should have subject to get paid or use care. Or please, can you explain to me why not?
Okay. CARE Act revenue has to be used specifically for COVID-related expenditures. Either expenditures to re-outfit the facility to be, let me call it COVID compliant, for personal protective equipment, or for labor and fringe benefits that were incurred to address the crisis. What we've done so far, and it's on the next page if you scroll down, Sassy.
I know, but my question is, Rich, again, is you and I and a board member and everybody in the world knows the region is, because of the COVID, people even afraid. So they need the treatment. They're afraid to come to the hospital because of the COVID. So because of that, under the same rules, I think we should explore with Dr. Boutin and Megan, and you should reach out to them and ask how the best we can use that money for care, not just accept it.
Well, we've claimed lost revenue, as you see there, in May, 4.6 million.
I'm seeing it.
What
You can see I read very well.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is we're identifying what we did last year in revenue and what we're doing this year to show the impact of COVID, because we have to demonstrate that to the government if they audit these funds. So what we've done is we've taken last year's volumes and compared it to this year's, and to the extent that we have had a drop in volume, which in prior meeting I said we had a drop of volume of I think it was $20 million, some of it offset by the COVID care that we provided. We have to attribute it according to what the rules are of the CARES Act. So with the use of these funds has been COVID-related expenditures and lost revenue. And you can see there where we've claimed it on each of the last 4 monthly financials that cover the COVID crisis period.
I understand the rules, but I'm asking you and the other board member, I'm sure have the same region. You may be the financial expert, not necessarily you the rule expert. My question to you, are you consulting with Dr. Boutin and Megan and somebody else taking their advice? Hey, maybe we can do something else. Maybe not. I don't know. But I'm saying you just making a sole decision. I'm advising you, if something you don't know, you should ask them, or just don't conclude independently, this is it.
And no, it's not just my decision. If you look at the bottom of this page, we've collectively as a team have discussed how we're going to use these funds going forward.
Thank you, sir.
I'm only presenting, Mr. Kaladi.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Rich, anything else on this pages that you'd like to discuss?
Yeah,
No,
let me just go back up to the previous page.
Okay.
Because of that 199 million, we do have to pay back 26 million because it was just a Medicare loan advance. And then the 96 million is what was on the next page, was what we haven't claimed yet because we haven't spent it according to what how we understand the CARE Act revenue has to be claimed. So the unrestricted balance right now as of July would be the $77 million. And that includes the district money of the 34 million that we currently have that we can claim. The other point you made is, why do I have the current liabilities on the bottom? I just wanted to put in perspective that if we have less than $100 million in cash, I wanted the board to understand that that's in the context of having $1.5 billion in liabilities.
I understand billions of liabilities. Means there's a lot of other issues can be brought it up. And you put a $565 million, but not explaining that's for a decade of 20 years, 30 years, or decade of 1 year. I don't know what decade, why that means the statement you given to them under the management to the titleless, whatever the organization was. I think it's a shame.
Can I say something? John,
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Bobby, just around that $565 million. That's a long-term expense or cost to the entity in terms of OPEB, the OPEB, right?
Yeah.
That amount of money is money that is recorded on our financials that is used to pay people who have retired their health benefits. It has been on the balance sheet that the board members have received every year. I've gone back to 2015. It appears in 2015. It appears in 2016. It appears in 2017. It appears in 2018. It appears in 2019, and it will appear in 2020. So if it's a surprise to any board members, that number, what I'd suggest is that maybe you might want to offline talk to Rich a little more about this to get a better understanding. But this is not something that has not been reported to the board. It's been reported to the board every year, and the growth of that number is very clear in our financials. So,
Chairman, I really appreciate your explanation. I want you to know I thank you. I am aware of it. My concern was when somebody said decades of coming, not what the past is. I think just like you explained just now, it is much better when somebody putting the report out, they can have a similar or better explanation. That's all I.
okay, all right.
All right, Rich, when it comes to the unearned CARES Act funds of 96 million, I assume that management is going to find ways to appropriately use as much of that money as we can before it has to be returned.
Yes,
And that's the exercise when you talk about some of the efforts that you're looking at for CARES money on the second page.
yes, that's the general categories that we're trying to, that we anticipate that we would apply those funds to down the bottom.
Yeah, so that 96 million, you want to try to eat up as much as you can with these appropriate efforts?
Yes.
Okay, good. Committee members, any questions for anyone on this particular presentation?
Chairman, that was a good question, and I'm glad you asked instead of me. And let's use it to the maximum we can.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Jan.
What's the time frame for using the funds before we have to return what we haven't used?
I'm in the office.
The current guidelines that the Medicare program has said that, or the government has said, is we have to use it by July of next year.
2021? Okay, thank you, Mr. Ryan.
Oh.
That gives us a little time. I was afraid.
You know, Rich, I think it's important that we keep an eye on this, and as part of our monthly reports, how many of these things actually come to fruition and how much that 96 million we actually are using. Because I think, you know, we all as board members would like to see us optimize our opportunity here when it comes to that CARES money.
Yes, sure will.
Good.
Thank you.
I assume there are no other questions. Can you go on to the operating results, Rich, if you have nothing more to discuss here?
Sure. The next attachment is the July financial statements. And on page 8 of 18 on the bottom, that's the consolidated P&L.
Okay. Before you go there, can you go to page 4 of 18?
Sure. Okay. Page 4, yeah, on the bottom. That should be it. That's it. No, you just look at it. This page, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you please tell the board member as well the chairman and me? So the question is, I see this loss. All of this is a COVID loss? Yes or no? That's all I need the answer. Yes or no? Is this a COVID loss?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, continue on, Rich, please.
Okay. On page 8,
No, I am still on page 5. I have a question on page 5.
Okay.
Chairman, do I have your permission?
Of course.
Thank you. When we talk about the act revenue, I have a couple maybe question or suggestion. Mr. Richard, I read the note you have on top of this page. It does not explain or indicate if some of all or all is lost due to COVID. What is the full amount of loss? Yeah, I just want a one number, not a confusing number of, you have 20 of them. What is total one number, like the chairman before explained when he said 585, Bobby, is not coming from today, it's coming from 15, 18, 16, whatever you want to call it, but he come up with a one number. I'm asking you, can you tell me what is the one number? Instead of complicating by 10 here, 2 here, 3 here, so that I'm not an accountant. I don't know, my smart sister over here, Jen Cagrera, maybe can have a much better idea than I do, or Mr. Bill and Ahab have a better idea than I do. And for our fiduciary responsibility, I think if you give one number, another, my question is, are you perhaps to use all the funds appropriately or not? Why not? Let's have a plan. Why? Whatever we have to use, buy it today. Buy the ventilators, buy the beds, buy other things. So we can use legally what we're supposed to use instead of returning back. Do you have any plan?
I think that's exactly what we just talked about with the planned use of the funds.
With this?
On page 2, Bobby, of the last document,
I must have missed it.
it says,
Yeah.
it says plan use of funding, modify
I-
facilities for COVID-related safety.
Funny part is I just wanted you to know I don't have it.
You don't have it?
It's the second page of the cash.
I don't have the second page.
Okay,
I have the third of 18. Maybe
Well,
I
let's-
have it. I'm going to try to find it.
okay, well, let's make sure.
But I appreciate
we have
that.
it.
So if I find it, I will find it.
Do you see
Okay.
it now, Bobby? It's up on the screen.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay. I did have it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I did have
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and that relates back to the discussion about the unused CARES money, how we're going to try to optimize our use.
Chairman, I appreciate if Richard answered that question instead of you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Rich?
Yeah, the plan use is, as stated there, modifying the facility. And the best example I can give you is what we're doing right now with the dental clinic. We have to create negative pressure rooms and barriers for patients treated in the dental clinic. Because of social distancing, we are looking into expanding clinic hours so that we can see the same amount of patients as we used to see, more. We're modifying the Allscripts electronic medical record to provide for telehealth, and there's a lot of tentacles to that to allow for that telehealth to be an effective and an efficient tool, and that's add-ons to the Allscripts.
So you saying to me the total amount of that is 95.7 million. That's what you're saying?
No, I can't say that now. I have to say this is how we're planning to use it, and we're going to attempt to use it all.
I mean, you cannot say it now when you're presenting me the report right now, but you cannot tell me what the exact number is.
No, because this is just planned use, not actual use.
So what is the total amount?
That we use so far?
No, I'm asking, you see, when you on that top of that paragraph, page number 5, on top of the first paragraph, there's too many numbers. Some are 11 million, some are 9.7, some are 1.3, some are 10, some are 2. So it's a mix of a lot of numbers. So what is the total amount? I didn't use my calculator.
4.6.
I guess the way to respond to that, the maximum amount we could use is what's available, which would be 95.7 million.
Chairman.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm going to humbly request you. I am asking Richard that question, not you.
So far, we've had 14 million point six of COVID-related expenditures, and we've recorded 10.7 of lost revenue related to COVID, for a total of 21.7 million in CARES Act revenue that we've recorded.
I just quickly try to calculate, it's close to $42 million. I wish you had just simply had answered me, say 42 million. Thank you.
Bobby, where are you getting the 42 million from?
I just try to quickly try to put the total together on page 5 of 18, where you have NHCC has recognized CARES Act revenue. All I was asking is what is the total number?
Just almost 21 million.
But that 11 million is the 75% of expenses on the prior page of 14.6. And the
So-
lost revenue is the 10.7 that I just referenced, for a total of 21.7 million of CARES Act revenue that we've recognized. The expenses we've incurred is 25% higher because we've been using the FEMA guidelines to claim them.
I understand and I appreciate it. Again, my question was very simple. It was, can you please tell me what is the total amount? That's all I was asking. And I thank you.
21.7, yeah.
Okay, Rich, please continue with the operating results.
Okay. On page 8 of 18,
Oh, no, I have something on number 7, page 7.
okay.
Now, on page 7 of 18. Now, can you explain to me? I know Chairman Dito tried to explain to me once, and maybe I'm not as smart. I did not understood it, so I'm re-asking. As I understand, this money should be 50% county and 50% from the state. We advance the money to the behalf of the county 50%, and then we receive $1. In reality, we only receive a 50 cent because we already advanced 50%. And even that 50%, we still not getting our money back. Am I right or am I wrong? Can you please explain?
Sure. You're talking about the second bullet under the consolidated balance sheet column.
Yes, sir. You can take it from, consolidated balance sheet, yes.
Yeah, the 47 million is what we would have gotten this year in IGT. However, because of the course reports being filed incorrectly, they had recouped an amount, and we ended up with a net amount at 22.8. There was a repayment as part of that 47. They took back 24.4 million of prior year IGT that was paid. New York State. With the 47 million would have been the 50% of 95 million almost that we would have received. But we had an obligation back for prior year amounts that we received that we weren't entitled to of 24.4. So they gave us a net 22.8.
Yeah, but again, this is still, we receiving our own 50%, which we invested back to the state from the county, but though it's a county's obligation to give us that money. We should receive dollar for dollar, $1.50, not a 50%.
That may be the case, but that's the way it's been done here at Westchester Med and in every.
They maybe have done that way, but under the new leadership, Chairman Bob Detour, he want to collect all the money. He only can do it, or we only can do it if he have the knowledge of it. So I expect you to please let the chairman know in details, and hopefully we will work hard all together to collect that money back.
No. Yeah, no, Mr. Detour and I have talked about that in prior meetings. And ideally, that would be exactly what we should be trying to do. Whether we're successful is the question.
I will be available to assist the chairman somewhere, somehow, if it's needed.
We would be getting back if we got the whole thing, like all the other hospitals.
Well, on the IGT, it's supposed to be funded 50% by the local share that we have to,
Another 40.
yeah, another 47 million. in this
So we should
regard.
be getting another 47 million
If
from the
it-
county?
Yeah, ideally, if the county funded that 47, we would have got 94.4 million in that
I
regard.
really appreciate you being very candid, and I thank you. But I wanted to make sure my colleagues are aware of it, and we want to extend our help to the chairman, Bob Detour, whatever we can to collect our money, regardless of who the agency is. And hopefully NIPA, I know Mr. Weiss is listening, is able to help us collect our money from the county since they control the finances.
Okay, could I move on to page 8,
Yes.
which is the consolidated P&L?
Yes, sir. I think before you go, I want to, Chairman, commend Bhutan, Richard, as well as Megan. They're doing a great job. I know we are almost 19 million together ahead of this 2 month, that the way the report look at it. And thank you, doing a great job, Richard. Thank you, Dr. Bhutan. Thank you, Megan, that you guys did a fantastic job. I don't know if ever we had kind of more money. And I also want to thank Dr. Bhutan. If you can find out who it was, who it is, it says something to do with Maddie or Paddy. I'm going to look at the exact name that they was making money. But you go ahead. But I wanted to make question now. We are 15 million better, and thanks to Bhutan and Megan and all the staff, all the employees. Thank you, showing the plus. I'm sorry, I have no more question on this, except a compliment.
Okay, Rich, please continue.
Our operating results through the end of July before OPEB and the actuarial adjustment, we planned or we budgeted a loss of 50 million through this time. We're at 35 million, and we're positive to budget by almost $15 million. That includes the 21.7 that we just talked about in CARES Act revenue that we've claimed. It also has all of those expenditures that we expended for COVID. That's all included in those numbers.
What about the case mix? Is that a part of it?
Yes, the case mix, in general, we've had, and I'll do it in really round numbers, through July,
Finally.
we've had volume drops of about 26 million, and we've had about 23 million of case mix intensity adjustments or favorable that offset that. So the case mix and the intensity of cases that we've treated has offset the volume drops that we've seen throughout the crisis.
I also see you saved $5 million on the expenses. Thank you to the team.
Yeah, a lot of that was because we redeployed people during the crisis rather than hiring other people. So,
Whatever you did, I'm complimenting to your team, and it has included the chairman and everybody else.
Bob, do you want to talk about the district at this point?
Yeah, I think we need transparency, let them know.
Yeah, why don't you, you know.
You want, yeah, all right. Well, we were just discussing that we got a notice this week of an additional award of dollars from the district program.
I hope it's a 40, 50 million or more, Bob.
It's 50 million.
Okay.
What happened was the state had a pool of about $600 million that they then had to divide up among the different PPSs that was it participating provider systems across the state. You know, we are in a PPS with Northwell and with CHS. It's called NQP. And so the NQP received an award of roughly let's say $150 million. And so we split that money by thirds. So we will be receiving at some point an unexpected income of $50 million from the district program this year. Now, that's going to really go a long way towards helping our cash flow, obviously, for 2021. What Rich had referred to earlier in the assets reserved for use, where the district was $32 million. We did, in fact, this week, send a letter to Peggy Chan with a copy to the governor's office, notifying them that we intended to take that $32 million and move it over. And so that $32 million will get us through until about June of next year. 32, 34. And then the $50 million will, is going to help us quite a bit for next year. It will not fill the total void, but it really gives us a lot more runway and a lot more breathing space to be able to change our operations so that we can get ourselves on a much more stable platform. So it's good. It's good news. Good news.
Yeah, and
Chairman, you keep it up. I'm telling you, I am on your side. I knew, but I didn't want to, I follow up more than you can see. I have some idea, but it's great to hear from you than whatever the idea I have about the amount. And I appreciate you explaining. We will continue, find the money and open the hospital and serve our residents. Under your leadership, we will not close.
Okay. Let me just clarify one point. All of the numbers that I just reported on excludes this $50 million because we just got notice we should get the cash and we should record that as revenue if we get it in September. So
Are there any restrictions on this $50 million?
no.
No,
Wonderful. That is wonderful news.
it's a great news.
We thought so.
Bob, Dito, take the credit, but make the credit go to Bhutan and Megan also, please. They work very hard. Thank you.
I'd love to take it, but it wasn't me. I'm as surprised as everybody else.
Thank God it wasn't because of you. It was from all of us.
Yeah. Well, it's a good work that the hospital staff did.
Absolutely. It's a high volume, high cases, and that's what it was. I follow. I don't sleep. I love this hospital.
Okay.
All right, Rich, can you bring us back to the operating results?
Yeah, no, I think I covered the main points of it.
Okay.
So if there's any questions on the other end,
This is a page 11 of 18, right?
11.
11, right?
Okay, we were on 8, but yeah, 11 is,
11. Okay. What I'm asking on 11 is, when you put it miscellaneous expenses, I don't know. I hope board member equally like me don't know when you say miscellaneous. I don't want to see miscellaneous. We don't want to vote blindly. Would you please be kind enough next time tell us what miscellaneous is, because $11 million is not a chump change. And we have a fiduciary responsibility. 11 million is a lot of money. And it cannot be miscellaneous. What are we buying, a dog food?
no,
What is miscellaneous?
Bobby, that's,
I don't know. Does my board member knows what miscellaneous is?
it's miscellaneous revenue, not expense.
What,
And it's
where
primarily,
is the revenue coming from? I think you still should explain.
I will, it's primarily LIFQHC paying for the 42 employees that go to them, that's on our payroll. It's our parking revenue. It's the cafeteria revenue. It's,
What is our cafeteria revenue?
what is it?
Yes.
When our employees go to the cafeteria, they pay for their
I
food.
said, what is our cafeteria revenue?
I
And you
don't,
gave me
have
the
it.
number.
I don't know it right off the top of my head.
Okay, that's why I wanted, because if it's costing me $1 million and I'm only making 200,000, and that's the operation I might want to close or want to recommend to our board and the chairman. That's why we need, what is it?
Okay, I will
We
give
can-
you a
we'll find
detail.
out. we make money on the cafeteria, actually.
Regardless of you
It's
make
very
money or
cold.
not, it depends on how much you're making. And like a chairman said, what we want to put our resources behind.
We'll have that next Thursday, Dr. Carlotti.
Thank you very much.
Please continue, Rich.
I had just asked if there was any other questions, at this point.
Okay. If there are none, let's move to new business, and you have something.
No, I have a question on number 13. I have 3 more questions. Jen, I love you so much. I know sometimes you want me to get out, but I take so much time to read everything. And that's why I wanted to ask questions. I wanted you to know I do have everybody in my mind when I ask questions, because I take so much time to read every details. For me, that's why I ask questions. So I wanted to make sure we are clear when we are doing this. On page 13, as I have commented on our previous meeting, our case mix index is higher by 0.22. And I believe, and I hope Dr. Bhutan sitting there will agree with me, having angioplasty, our case index will be much higher, provide a better service to our community, which need the most from these facilities. Don't you think so? If we have the angio, our case mix will be much higher.
Absolutely.
Thank you. On page 14, let it go. On page 15, how much money we receiving? I see you showing a loss on Holy Patterson, even though you're showing a profit in our medical center. You guys did a great job. But I want to know how much money we receiving on those houses or the project they're using our land. Can somebody tell me what amount we receiving? Also, how much is the cost shifting to the Holy Patterson home from the hospital? Can you please tell me?
The land, I can answer the question. Bobby, are you speaking about the apartment buildings that are being put up there and what we're going to get for that?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay, now, that is, I just did a little research on that to try to better understand that. And that is there's 2 complexes there, about 350 or 380 units of Golden Age housing and millennial housing. So there's 2 parcels. Both parcels have been leased to the Anglo-Berman Group for 49 years. The leases, during the first 4 years, we probably get about $200,000 a year total for the first 4 years.
That's it?
Well, wait, let me explain. Now, every year, at the 5th year, we get a total when it appears when they ramp up and they're filled. From what I can tell, based upon the term sheet of the lease, we will generate a total of about, round figures, $250,000 a year for each parcel. So that will total $500,000 a year. And that $500,000 a year will go over a 45-year period.
What a crime against the community.
What?
In my opinion, this happened before, and you and me and other board members, I don't know, my heart going to cry. What a crime. In my mind, it's a crime. And what happened? Nothing you can do. I understand. I stand with you. But I am thanking you that you, first time, even the last 3 years I'm on the board, somebody explained. I truly believe we got robbed, but nothing we can do. And I want to ask General Counsel, if there is any room to renegotiate or something, please advise the board and the chairman. Let's go and fight, see if we can get a better money out of these robbers.
Well,
I'll look into it, but I believe, the leases were signed, everything was executed.
I understand it happened before us. I just still want to see if there is anything we can do. And I thank you, Chairman, for the explanation from bottom of my heart.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
The administrative costs are all kept in NUMIC, and just the administrative costs specific to AHP is included on this page in the salaries and fringes.
So there is no cost shifting?
Not on the internal financials, no.
When you're showing the loss, are you counting that cost shifting in it or not?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so this is directly that $5 million loss strictly from the Holy Patterson, you say.
Yes.
Please check it before you say it, because I'm going to really want you to know. I read and I read and I read.
Sure, I'll double check it.
And you can get back to me later on. You don't have to tell me right now.
Okay.
I learned from Jan Figueroa. She said, let it go once in a while. And I do.
Okay, Rich, please continue.
Okay, with respect to what you were just going to talk about, the new business, there's on the screen now, President Trump announced a couple of days ago that employers can defer the Social Security component of FICA and allow people to retain that, and employers to retain that for a 4-month period starting September 1st. At this point, any deferrals is the obligation of the employer, and then those amounts, as it is right now, would have to be repaid by the employees and by the employers in the first 4 months of 2021. This is something that we would have to fundamentally change our payroll system to program it for this. What we did, what President Trump said is that if he were elected, he's going to look to forgive this. However, when you look at the details of it, that requires Congress's legislation for that. And from what we understand, bipartisanly, the Congress is opposed to that, because if the FICA contributions are waived for that 4-month period, the reserves of the Social Security Trust Fund will be depleted by 2023. So it's not certain whether it would be forgiven as the president says. And as a result, it would just be a short-term loan by not having that taken out of the paychecks for these last 4 months of this year, only to be repaid in the first 4 months of next year. We reached out to ADP to find out what they were doing to support all of their clients, because there's a lot of changes to the payroll system. And what they told us is virtually none of their, not that absolutely, but they said there's so few employers that are taking advantage of this or looking to do this. They're going to continue the FICA deductions as they have been, because the way they see it, it's a short-term loan, and all of the employees will end up paying double the amount in the first four months of next year. And I think for that reason, none of them are doing it. I'm only asking the committee, I think it's in our best interest not to do it and to continue it, but I wanted to see what the committee thought on that before, we as management make a decision.
Rich, is it the NUMIC, our company will makes this decision for all employees? How does it work? Can an individual employee opt out of this, or what?
No,
is-
yes, we make the decision, and if we make a decision, individuals can't opt out of it. It has to be everybody in.
Okay,
But I think if it is the best interest of the hospital, and if you and Megan and Dr. Booton, the management, since especially you, Richard, can come up with it, whatever you guys think, I think we should follow the advice of the management. Since I'm not expert of that, I don't know about the other board members. That will be my suggestion.
I think it's clearly just a deferral that people are going to have to pay back in.
Yes.
I don't see the purpose of it at all. I think it's a very bad idea, and I don't think we subject our employees to it.
Actually, we already talked about this internally, and we're deciding not to do it.
Okay, then I stand with you not to do it. And, but I do want to bring one point to Chairman, since we do have the money, I think, Megan, we should pay the hazardous pay that we are agree expeditiously to all our employees as quickly as we can. Whatever you have to resolve it as quickly, that should be.
We
never-
voted on that last meeting.
I'm
I know
working-
we did. I'm still repeating.
I will have an update for the board next Thursday. We are working on it. We've been working on it very, very diligently with the union, and we're hoping to have it resolved by next week. If not, we'll definitely have an update for the entire board by next Thursday.
I trust your judgment and Dr. Booton's, and I still believe as expeditiously we can give because they really worked hard. Because I'm literally, Jen, living in the hospital last 6 months. Literally, they can tell you I'm there almost every day, morning to evening, and seeing the people who work there, patients who come there. I think they should not need to wait it. That's all.
Nobody's disputing that, Bobby.
Thank you, Jen. And again, thank you allowing me today ask all the questions that I needed. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman Bob Detour. And I'm glad you guys all understood my accent today.
Are there any other points that any of the members of the committee would like to bring forward?
No.
Hearing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Any seconds?
I second it.
Thank you, Bobby and Jen. Thank you for your attendance, and have a wonderful evening.
Good night.
You do
You had to
too.
take a vote.
Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed?
I'm no opposed.
Sure?
Come on, Waylon.
It was a delay in my unmute my microphone, but I do not
Mr.
oppose.
Mr. Bailenhab, you just made my evening. Now I know. You see how I speak English? No, yes.
Fine,
Bobby, you are too funny.
we are adjourned.
Thank you. God bless everybody.
God bless you all too.